Here we go. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for bearing with us. We are back. Again, I'm joined by Minendra Patel, business advisor here at Odoo San Francisco, and we will be discussing Odoo e-commerce. Take it away.
Thank you once again, Noel. So we're gonna jump into our demonstration for the e-commerce and website. I'm gonna go over how to build one, how the mobile compatibility associated with our app, as well as the e-commerce and the integration in the back end. And I'm going to touch upon the management and inventory management a little bit, as well as the reporting and optimization of the website. So without further ado, let's jump right into it.
Take it away.
Awesome. So as I mentioned before, if you're joining us just now, this is the dashboard that you'll see in the beginning. When you sign up for a free trial, this is the system that you'll see. And as you know, or maybe you don't know, Odoo is very modular, so you can pick and choose what you need. In this case, we're going to be using the website, the sales, inventory, accounting, your project management, timesheets, events if you have them, and the employees, and obviously the apps and the settings come standard. So now let's go into our website app. Initially, you will see this layout of all of our apps all the way through the system. So it's very integrated, very easy to use, or that's what we hope. And ultimately, in the website app, you will see this layout. Here, if we had data points and sales and traction, basically, we would see all of that here. You would see key metrics, and this is customizable. And you can see whatever you want to. If you have a Google Analytics account as well, you can easily link that right here. That's a simple configuration in the back end, in the in the settings, that requires an API that comes from your account. Now, these up here will show you unpaid orders or viewed items that have not yet been paid for, contact forms if you'd like to add it. You can even add a career page for your website if you're looking to add new talent. And you can add a live chat feature as well. All various features of our website app. Now, to show you how easy this can be, we're going to go ahead and click onto the website. Now, I intentionally left this blank so I could show you how to build this website simply. So we're going to go right here to the edit button, and we see the building blocks that are associated with the website app. Now, it's as simple as dragging and dropping into the website. You can use the ones that you like and simply just go ahead and add in what you're looking for here. Right? So actually, I don't like that one. So we're going to go into this one right here. Now, this is if you were going to be creating the website from scratch, right? So let's say we want to discard this and we want to use a theme. I'm just going to go ahead and start from scratch. Now, in order to customize, you can click Customize Theme, which then will prompt you to select one, because at this point, I have not yet. Here, you will see our preloaded themes that Odoo comes standard with. One of my favorites is the Avant-Garde. So you can also live preview by clicking on this button, but I like this one, so we're going to go ahead and use that. And we have a few themes here, but also on our App Store, you can get more, and you can customize themes very simply as well, in the same way that we use the building blocks to use to create our website. So now that you can see there's a background now created, you can add your custom text here by clicking Edit. Now, you notice how all these changed, and these are theme specific. So we can add in a block right here. We can add a page header right up top. Add a sample title, but obviously you can change these pictures by clicking on and or just putting in what you need as far as customization goes. Let's see here, we'll add some features. And we'll go ahead and put some posts. And these will be associated with your blogs and or slides if you want. And that's a feature that you can add to your website as well. You can also add a showcase slider. This is one of my favorites. You can add a carousel of images on your site. There's a huge trend about websites that have been coming up these days going where you have a scroll through website where you click on the top and it will go scroll straight to that section. We have the ability to do that on a few of our themes as well. So, and those are one of my favorite websites. Now, let's go in here. And for the sake of this demo, I created an event services company and named it Event Services. I know that's very creative, but we're going to just go with that and go ahead and input the tagline. And to show you the simplicity of this, if you've ever used any other website builder, it's not as easy as just dragging and dropping things onto the page. As soon as you hit save, it takes a second, but this now becomes your website. And you can go in and basically have a functioning website in a matter of minutes. Now, one thing you do have to do is once you create the site, you have to publish it. And this is how you publish pretty much anything on our site, whether it's a product, whether it's the actual site itself. So now, I want to go into the shop. Now, these are some preloaded products that I've put into our system. And because it's an event services company, I put in some wait staff, put in a bartender, put in a plate, put in some plates, put in some bottles. I mean, you can imagine what goes with this sort of company. So say you want to go into this and say you need a wait staff and you need a bartender and maybe some bottles along with that order. So you hit maybe 2 wait staff, go add to cart, and you can go back to our shop, click on the bartender, maybe you just need 1, and then once more you can hit, you need the plates. Now we add to cart. Now you can obviously put as many as you want. Say you have 20 guests coming, you're gonna add that in, and it'll automatically change that for you. And it's a live movement in the system. Also, you'll notice that it's 23 items, so each item in our system will calculate for you. So now you can go to process checkout, and I've preloaded my information here. And so we're going to confirm this. We're going to confirm this order. This is something, we have maybe 9 or 10 different payment acquirers that we can add, which I'll show you in just a second. But basically, for now, it's set up as a wire transfer. And for the sake of the flow through, I want to show you that you can just click on Pay Now, and it will create a sales order in the back end. And this is the point of the integration that I wanted to show you, which we'll get to later on. But ultimately, you can buy seamlessly on the website, create your e-commerce, and have a simple workflow just by clicking on the things that you need. Obviously, there's some configuration that you have to do in the back end, but once your products are set up in our system, once your contacts are set up, and even if they're not, this is a quick way to create a contact in Odoo. So now this will create a sales order for us. This is the sales order reference number for your customer if they just order it without signing onto your system. But there's ways of actually creating portal logins for your customers as well. Ultimately, you can create, if you sell to not only consumers, if you sell to other businesses, you can create logins that have price lists, that are discounts. You can create coupons even for your customers. So now, let's go back to our website. I'm going to go back to the dashboard here. And then we're going to jump back into the website. And I want to go into a few of the configurations. And notice you see these are unpaid orders. You can easily go into this and click into seeing what is ready to be invoiced. Now, because it's a wire transfer, it's not going to come through. You're going to have to confirm the order by yourself and manually. But ultimately, you go in here and you can confirm the sale. And by the way, a quick little thing about Odoo is that this section here, it records every movement made in the system. So when you have a new customer go through your website, it will create a record for them here as a reference to this sales order. It'll also create the quote that you sent, and this acts as an email message. So this will be recorded in the system, and it's full accountability, full traceability for not only your users on the system, but also the customer movements on your front end. So now if you hit confirm sale, this creates an invoice, and notice it creates a delivery, and it creates a task, and it creates one transaction. This transaction is going to be created as a journal entry in your accounting system. Now we're going to jump back to this sales order, and the tasks are created in the project management app. So because the bartender and the waitstaff were a service, we can track that service based upon hours, based upon milestones, or based upon ordered quantities, depending upon how you run your business. The delivery is an order for the plates that were ordered initially. Now, I wanted to go through this because these soft buttons are created only when you have the proper apps downloaded in conjunction with your website app. So you can basically seamlessly go through a whole workflow from one app. Now, just to show you, this will be in your warehouse, in your inventory app, right? And that was a one click, and it just jumps from one thing to the other. Now we're just going to jump back here. And now this is no longer an unpaid order. However, you have all of these menu items on top. Now you have the capability, as I said, to create blogs, forums, slides even if you want to. I've enabled the blog and the forum. So you can create blog posts if that's part of your marketing strategy and you want to ultimately attract people based upon your, say you're the authority on whatever you do. I can create a blog post on the best events based upon production or whatever it is that comes with an event services company. Now, you also have direct access to your inventory straight from the website app. And Odoo does this ultimately because you have the ability to, this is a functionality of our inventory app. However, you'll never see this change because you can ultimately do everything from one app, but you wouldn't have this capability if you didn't have your inventory app installed into your system. And we do this really, it's purposeful because we like to show the integrated capabilities of Odoo. So at all times, this will be the website. But for example, just to show you the connectivity, this is the products page. Now, if I click on the dashboard here and I jump into our inventory, I'm going to see a master data of our products here. And just a little note, because these are stockable products, that's why they're showing up here. But because we were looking at our website here, in our catalog and our products, these are service products. That's why they don't show up in our inventory. Our inventory will only show our stockable products. So if you wanted to create a product out of any portion of the website, it's as simple as just jumping in here and creating a product. Another thing I wanted to show you guys was, this is where you can see all of your orders that have been paid from online, because we do have the ability to accept and pay online. It's a simple configuration that you set up in the back end. And once you do that, once you send a quote to your customer, they can easily create it easily creates an order, automatically creates an order in your back end. You can also track your unpaid orders, as we see here. These are orders to invoice, unpaid orders here. You can also check abandoned carts. So if you have a product-based business where you have somebody who came onto the website, started creating a cart and didn't end up buying the product, you can set up a automated response to that customer with an email saying, hey, you left it open, do you still want to buy? And those are based upon days. You can set it up for 3 days after an order, you can set it up 7 days after an order. It just depends on what you need as your preferences. You can also track your customers who sign up onto your website, or just people who come on the website, period, if you have some sort of tracking system initially. For now, obviously, I'm the only person who has any orders and the only customer to my event services company. Another thing you can do is product variants, which obviously many product-based businesses have. For example, if you are selling bikes and you have a frame that has multiple colors, you can set up product variants in this tab, as well as price lists. And price lists are actually a very powerful tool in any business, obviously, but in Odoo specifically, they can be linked to products, not only products, but they can be linked to customers, and they can be linked to specific campaigns, which ultimately means that you can create a discount from, say, Friday to the end of Sunday and set a time on that, and in that time span, give a 30% discount for whatever it is that you are trying to sell or trying to promote. Another very strong tool is the promotions program. I'm going to go ahead and click into this. We can easily create a promotion program. So for example, let's say we're going to sell discounted services, right? We can pretty much configure this to add any filter that is associated with our products. So anytime somebody picks that product out of your website, this will get triggered and it will create a discount automatically. You can also show whether you want to apply it on the current order, you can apply it on the next order. Many people like to do things where they're going to say buy now and then get a discount on the next order, which is a great selling tactic, obviously. And then you can even choose the kind of reward that you want and create the type of discount where you're doing it on specific products, on the cheapest product, or on the order itself. Now we're going to jump into coupon programs as well. And in the same way, I mean, really our system is very similar. Each of the apps look pretty much the same, which gives you movability, So at this point, it's the same format. You can create the coupon program name. And one thing to note, just because I'm seeing this here, this bold underline here, if you're not familiar with Odoo, this bold underline means that it won't allow me to save this record. This is a required field here. So for example, this would be a required field, but I don't necessarily need to put in a validity duration. This could be 0, and it would still let me save the record without this being set to anything. So let's go back now. And this is where obviously you would do your blog posts. This is where you would manage your forum and your posts. And this is a most important part here. So you have a few different views in Odoo. In general, we have certain views where you can see as a pivot table. In the reporting, you'll only see 2 views. We have the pivot table and we have the graph view. As of now, there aren't many. There's no data points. There's one sale. So we're going to see June 2018 based upon this one sales order. But you have the ability to click into this and basically report based upon what you're looking for. In this case, say you want to do a salesperson, which is me, and maybe buy product. And it's as simple as this to report and create a searchable report. And this, you can create a favorite and save current search as current sales report. You can share with all users if you have other people in your organization that have logins. They can see this report as well. So you can just click on that and then save. Now this comes in as your current sales report, and anytime you want to see this specific report, it'll come up easily. So for example, if I click out that, and then if I click on sales funnel, click back to current sales report, it'll open up. That pretty much sums up, oh, actually, since we're back here, now that there has been a sale made, you'll see that these metrics start to open up. You can track it based on the day, and obviously these are, in the last week, we have not had any other sales, so you won't see anything, and starting tomorrow, we'll see more. We'll see a movement in this trend line. And obviously you see at a glance your orders, how much you've sold. It even tracks how many orders you have a day, and the conversion rate based upon how many orders you have and how many you have actually paid. Now, I'm going to go into the back end where we can see, oh, here's another thing. Every money movement in Odoo can be tracked and accounted for. So many people have and use different systems such as QuickBooks or MailChimp or Shopify, which is a great tool. But through our system, everything is connected. So your accounting system is connected, where every time you confirm a sale, it will be recorded as a journal entry. And you can go into that and check here in your accounting app. I'm not going to get into it right now because that is for a different webinar. But every money movement goes into the system, and it gets recorded. So you can basically get rid of your QuickBooks, and you get rid of the double entry. Every time you confirm a sale, or if somebody buys something, it will get recorded in here. Now, imagine you have a made-to-order business. Anytime somebody buys something on your website, and you, for example, don't have something in stock, you can create a rule in the system saying that when this item is not available, create this purchase order and automatically send it out to a vendor. Odoo has that capability, and ultimately that comes down to our inventory. So I'm going to go into that really quick and just show you. For example, you have the ability to go into your sales and inventory. If it's a made to order, I haven't actually downloaded the purchasing app. So ultimately, like I said, if the app isn't installed in conjunction with certain things, it won't show up. But for the sake of the demo, let me show you what that looks like. You'll see a purchasing tab show up right here in just a moment. So we're going to go back here, go into our apps, we're going to go into our purchase management and go ahead and install that. Now, it'll just take a moment, but ultimately, the integration of Odoo is expansive, and it's very powerful. So now that we have the purchases app here, we're going to go back into our inventory, go into products, go into plates. Notice how the purchase tab just showed up. And the thing with Odoo is, and a lot of people don't know this, is that if it won't have the capability unless you have these things installed into your system. So now we can go in here, add a vendor, create a product variant, whatever it is. You create whoever your vendor is. Say this is vendor X. And assuming you know the lead times, assuming you know the price, say this is, I don't know, 25 cents a plate. Save and close. And now you can set up a rule in the back end every time that your stock gets too low, that if somebody orders this and your stock is too low, it will automatically create a purchase order to vendor X. And the entire system gets integrated. This, I don't know about you, but for many people is a hassle. A lot of the clients that I've spoke to, a lot of the customers that I've spoken to in the past have said that they're using multiple different systems and then having to do double entry. For example, they have to do manual purchase orders or manual sales orders and then having to put it into the accounting system and then having to manage this entire business in a way that does not free up their time, which is unfortunate because you have a system like Odoo that you just have to configure properly and it's one click. So another thing to note about our system is that all of these buttons represent a different type of app. So our purchases obviously will refer to our purchase management app. Our sales is our sales app. Our reordering rules is something I didn't touch upon, but basically if you know when you need something, if you say, for example, your plates get down to about 10, and you know that at 10 plates you need to reorder more, you can just go in here, create a reordering rule. At minimum quantity, say there's 10. At maximum quantity, you could say 100. Say you don't want more than that. And it's as simple as just creating and editing this reordering rule. And now it will always be associated with our plate. So that is touching upon our integration just a little bit, but I did not go into the e-commerce. So let's go into the configuration. I want to show you our payment acquirers. These are the payment acquirers that we have on our e-commerce platform. Ultimately, you can use any one of these payment acquirers, and we're integrated with, many people use PayPal. We're integrated with them, Ingenico, Aiden, Buckaroo. My personal favorite is Authorize.net because it allows you to save tokens of people's credit cards. And that is very powerful when you need, for example, if you invoice somebody and they are not able to pay at the moment, you always have their token on hand and you can just charge them for whatever you need. For example, if you're a subscription-based business, that is a very powerful tool. A lot of these other things, other payment acquirers don't allow you to do that unless you have an account with them, and that means you're probably paying an extra payment or fee for that. Now, also on your website, you are able to create categories based upon where you want to add things and put them in. So, for example, I put accessories and services, and that's how I've broken up my products, the 4 products that I have. So accessories would be plates, bottles. The services would be waitstaff and bartenders. Another thing to note is that here, we're going to go into our settings. A lot of the simple things that function in Odoo, a lot of the things that I'm showing you are one click. So for example, if you have a product catalog that has multiple attributes and variants, it's as simple as just clicking on this and then creating these attributes. And all of it is one click. Whereas many other systems do not allow the simplicity that this is. Also, you have your Google Analytics, as I mentioned before, you just need your tracking ID. You go ahead and put that in and it will show up on the dashboard that I showed you initially. You can also do, this is another very strong feature, the A/B testing. Ultimately, you can create multiple versions of your web page and basically test which one is working the best. Many people, sometimes create a web page but don't know if it's going to work well. This allows you to create multiple versions of it and basically just figure out which one works the best and then adopt that. Another thing to note is you can create wish lists for your customer experience. And again, simple as clicking, just activating it. You can do a product comparison tool on the site itself. You can also suggest products. I didn't set that up in this demo. However, you can create so for example, if you were going to get a plate, you could set up a section on the page saying, well, why don't you get some forks as well, or some knives, or some spoons, or whatever it is that you want to sell. You could set up your taxes on the back end as well, which is really, really nice because if you're, for example, shipping a lot to various zip codes all out throughout the US or Canada, with a tax cloud login, you would just, again, put in your API ID or key, and it automatically takes that zip code and calculates the taxes for you. Assuming this is a product-based business, or actually just depends on where you're sending this product and how that zip code's taxes function. But every zip code has a different tax code. So this is a very simple and easy way to get rid of a headache that you otherwise would have and would have to make sure. Also, this gets automatically accounted for if you have the accounting app in conjunction with your e-commerce website. Now, as I mentioned, you can set up price lists. This can be computed based on multiple prices, as you see here, multiple prices per product, or you can just compute discounts, margins based on formulas. This is a powerful, powerful tool. Like I said before, you can create times and dates where you want a discount to be functional, and then automatically have it turn off on its own. And you can set that up repeating. You can set that up concurrent to some other promotional campaign that you're running. You can also set it up based upon the conjunction of that specific campaign and have it turn off when the campaign is over. Odoo is an international company as well, so we have made it a point to create multi-currencies in our system. I'm not sure if most of you know this, if you're familiar with the history of Odoo, but basically it started in Belgium in 2005. And our accounting system has multiple countries' accounting principles. And I'm not sure exactly the amount of countries, but it's a lot. And we have a list of that on our website under our documentation page. As I mentioned, coupons and programs are available if you so create them, if you so activate them. Another great thing to note about our website and just Odoo in general is that we have integrations with UPS, FedEx, bpost, DHL, USPS. And ultimately, if you ship a lot, this will automatically compute your shipping costs based upon the weight and volume of the items that you're shipping. And this makes the life of a product-based business owner very, very seamless because it saves one tedious, albeit step, in the process of getting out your product to the end user or end customer. These integrations have been around in Odoo for a long time, and ultimately it creates a seamless workflow from your customer coming onto your website all the way to delivery of the product. Also, you have the ability to invoice differently based upon what's delivered, which is what you would need if you were going to invoice somebody based upon services or on what is ordered. And that just ultimately depends on how you run your business. So these are just your settings, honestly, and how to create your workflow. And I wanted to go over that just briefly and high level. So I believe, actually, I'm going to go ahead and save that here. Also, one thing while this is taking a second to load, in previous versions of Odoo, we did not necessarily have the capability to jump from setting page to setting page based upon apps. And if you look here, you have all of the apps that I have downloaded, and you could just jump from each and every one of these. Just give it a second. You can jump from each and every one of these to basically create your settings in a one-click fashion. And it's as simple as that. So now we're going to go back into the website, and I wanted to go into the ability to optimize, and that would have been here. Just one moment here. Okay, well, that was there yesterday. But in any case, there we have a place to optimize the website, in whether it's from your Facebook campaign, whether it's from a Twitter campaign, whether it's from an Instagram campaign. Basically, you can create a link here, put that into your social media, and then track how your website is faring on each of these different social medias. Or, I mean, even if it's from a LinkedIn ad, if it's from a Facebook ad, whatever it is, it will give you the metrics and show you how your website fares in comparison from one social media to the next. Obviously, if you're going to be running a web-based business, those are important metrics that you'd like to cover and actually make sure that you know you have. Because obviously it doesn't make sense to pour money into things that don't work. And Odoo gives you that capability. Unfortunately, I can't show you that right now, but if you have any questions specifically regarding that, go ahead and email me, and I can definitely show you that more in depth. But as far as the website goes, I believe I covered everything that I mentioned. Actually, I did not. I'm going to go into one more thing just to show you the mobile compatibility here. So this little icon right here will show you how people will view your website online. And this is a great tool just because sometimes when you have a website, it doesn't always translate to the mobile site, and it sometimes looks actually terrible, and it ends up putting people off. This shows you the exact way that people will see it on their phones when they're looking you up on the go. And I don't know about you guys, but I buy a lot of things online, and mostly from my phone, just because when I'm sitting around watching TV, I'm just browsing. And I don't always have my computer on me. So this is a really great feature that Odoo provides when you are building out your site and making sure you know what it looks like entirely. With that, I believe my time is coming to an end, as well as I'm not sure if we have any time for questions, but
we do. We actually just have one question.
Okay.
It looks like we have one from, let's see, Luis Barroso.
Okay.
So what is the level of customization you can apply to the project in terms of implementing his own functionalities?
Yeah, so that's something I didn't quite touch upon. But basically, it depends on how you want to do it, right? If you know how to code a little bit, you can basically click your HTML, CSS. You can go in here and just build out exactly how you want to, customize. Ultimately, if you don't know how to code, that limits you a little bit, obviously, because at the end of the day, this is a website. But if you're looking for this kind of capability, it's literally as simple as just the one-click customization right here. And then you have your settings here as well, which allow you to jump back into our settings, right? And this ultimately allows you to add certain things simply, but you can add different APIs into the system depending on what you need. But I hope that answers the question regarding customization.
And if not, you can try and send an email, or just please send an email to webinars@odoo.com,
Right.
or if you wish to speak with Minendra personally, you can send an email to him at mip@odoo.com. So let's see, with that, thank you all very much for sticking around for our webinar today. Many thanks to Minendra here. Don't forget, we still have tons of Odoo live events. We actually have Santiago in Chile today. Lima is the 19th of July. Montevideo in Uruguay is the second week of August. We've got events here in the United States as well: Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Seattle, DC, and many more. And you can check all of those out at odoo.com/events. So once again, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so we can continue making these videos for you so you can get the most out of the Odoo platform. Once again, my name is Noel, this is Minendra, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.